Okay, here we go. I was going to do a video today because I had lots of daylight for a change, and then it got really cloudy and dark, so we shall see how this turns out. Today I'm making a video that I have been meaning to make for a little while. I'm going to talk about doing work experience with a publisher. I've done 2 work experience placements now with different publishers in London, 2 major UK publishers, 2 major worldwide ones, in fact. But I did them in London. So I am going to talk about that because I think quite a few people might be interested. I'm going to start by talking about how I got those positions, what I did to prepare for them, and a little bit about what I did in each of them, like kind of jobs I was given during the day. Yeah. So my first work experience placement I did was with Penguin Random House. The second one was with HarperCollins. And the first one was at Penguin. I was in the international sales department, and at HarperCollins I was with fiction marketing. So again, apart from being 2 different companies, they were 2 quite different departments. Some overlap, but yeah, so I got to see lots of different stuff between the 2 of them. I did get my 2 placements in slightly different ways. For the first one, Penguin Random House advertised work experience placements on their Facebook page, and over the summer they were doing 2-week placements in lots and lots of different departments, and they would advertise them every couple of weeks. I sent in quite a few applications and I wasn't getting very far, so I realised they were always being advertised on the same day, and a lot of the time was for the same departments, so I wrote my cover letter before the advert went up for the ones that I wanted in the end, so that as soon as the advert went up I could send it in. I don't know if that made a difference, I have no idea, but the reason I did it was I thought it's just work experience. Fair enough, they might look through a few CVs, and I know that they did, at least for the department I went to. They chose someone specifically, it wasn't just the first person on the list, but I guessed before I went, and again I don't know if it really was like that, but I was thinking that they would not go through lots and lots of CVs if they found one person they liked. So I thought I wanted to make sure that mine was one of the first ones they got, so that's what I did there. This was a CV that I sent them a CV and cover letter, that was what they were asking for. I had drafted through that CV and cover letter several times. I read through it to make sure there weren't any spelling mistakes or errors, which should be obvious stuff, but might be helpful for some people to know. Get someone else to read through them if you can. I've done so many CVs and cover letters at this point that I can't ask people to read them anymore because I think they will be fed up with them and they will be seeing them with just as tired eyes as I will. But anyway, I sent in this application to Penguin Random House, and I got an email a few days later saying could I come in to do that placement. So that was very exciting. With the HarperCollins one, it was a little bit different. I ended up doing, that was actually the second work experience placement I got to do, but it was based off an application that I sent before I'd done the other one. So they chose me not knowing that I had already done work experience somewhere else. So back in about June in the summer, someone on Twitter retweeted someone from the marketing department saying that they were looking for work experience candidates and send a CV and cover letter, which I did, and didn't hear anything. They had filled the position, but I'd said I was available for the next 3 months if they had times coming up, but I didn't hear anything, so kind of forgot about that. And then sometime in September I got an email from someone in the department saying was I still available for work experience, because they needed someone for a couple of weeks. And that was, like I said, I'd completely forgotten about it by that point. I thought I hadn't got it and it was done. So that's June, July, it was about 3 months later that they emailed me with that one, but that was exciting and it turned into a great placement. What did I do to prepare for the work experience? I read a great book earlier this year when I started kind of looking to get into publishing, called Leave Your Mark by Elise Licht. She is a PR, she's the head of PR at DKNY, I think I've got that right. But she didn't study anything like PR at university. She was studying a medical degree. But this book, Leave Your Mark, is all of her advice about getting to that. Her industry is the fashion industry, so it's not quite related. But either way, it's got loads of great advice for doing work experience, for essentially trying to get experience in an industry when you have no experience already and things like that, and choosing a career that you love. So I read that book and it has some great tips about making the most of a work experience placement, among other things. A thing that I'd heard a lot of people say that I do believe is true is that work experience is essentially an extended interview. The whole time you're there, people are looking at you, seeing you, getting to know what kind of person you are, how you work. So you've got to make the most of that opportunity. And I went into my work experience placements excited to be there, but also kind of nervous because I felt a lot of pressure. I was like, this is my chance to go in and show them who I am and show them that I want this and that I'm willing to work hard and things like that. Okay, talking about what I actually did during the work experience placement. With Penguin Random House first, I'll talk about them. I was in international sales. One of the things that I did a few times while I was there that became one of my tasks was each week when the New York Times bestseller list for the week was announced and the Sunday Times bestseller list, which is a UK paper, then I would go through the list and see what books there were from any of the Penguin Random House imprints on there, find the ISBNs, the price, whether it was hardback or paperback or trade paperback, and put all of that information into a little spreadsheet order form, which they could then send off to clients and say, look, these are our bestseller titles this week. Would you like any of them? Because clearly people are buying these, so your customers might like them as well. I also got to do some research projects while I was there, which was a case of looking up some stuff, and I was actually looking up conferences that were happening in Europe for different things, and putting the information I found into a spreadsheet. I did a lot of putting books into envelopes and putting addresses on them and sending them out into the wild. I think most departments that you work in, if you do work experience, that will be something you do a lot of. Sticking address labels on things, writing out address labels by hand, putting things in envelopes. There were a lot of little tasks I did that weren't like specific big exciting things. I learned to use the computer system that they use in the company, what their database is and how to search for things on it. They were about to do a sales trip to Asia and they had some PowerPoint presentations which needed a lot of images and text adding to it still, so I put a lot of that in. It was a lot of little, I want to say administrative, but I don't know if you'd call it that. It was a lot of little tasks. It was very, very interesting. One thing that I did really like was my supervisor and some of her friends, some of the other people in the department would all eat lunch together in the canteen, and I went along with them, and that was a great chance to ask them questions and talk to them about their job specifically, what they were doing while they were sat at their computer all day. Which goes back to what I was saying about making the most of things. There was a chance there to talk to them away from their desks, so I tried to make the most of that. At HarperCollins, I was in the marketing department, fiction marketing, and again I did a lot of putting books into envelopes and sending them out. So many books to post out. But again, that's interesting because you see which titles are being promoted, you see how they're finding their reviewers. Some of them were Goodreads giveaway winners that I was sending out, some of them were to big review websites, some of them were to Good Housekeeping magazine, of all things, which I would not have guessed at. Then that's probably because I'm not a Good Housekeeping magazine reader. I didn't know that they had a big bookish feature in there. And this kind of thing, you learn stuff. The whole time I was there, I was learning things that will be building up my view of the publishing industry. I wrote tweet-length things that had review links in and buy links. Whenever there was a promotion on, we would tweet about that. just a lot of little things helping out everyone's department. If people have little things that they can pass on to you, they will do that. So you end up doing a lot of small jobs that might be a little bit boring sometimes, but it's helping the team as a whole. I'm not really sure what else you might like to know about doing the work experience there. I thought it would be good to do a little video talking about it, and if you have other questions, if you want me to talk in more detail about something, let me know and I'll be happy to do that. I just wasn't really sure what people would like to hear about. Yeah, I'll stop there.